There is a typo on the presentation here. It does start at 11 o'clock, not 1 p.m. So sorry about that.
Thank you.
My name is CJ Davila. I am the Executive Director of the Florida Green Building Coalition. A little background on FGBC. We are a nonprofit founded in the year 2000. We are the largest green building certification program in the state of Florida. Our program has criteria that is state specific, climate specific to the state of Florida. We do use independent third parties to verify our certifications, and we strive to be the leading green building resource within the state. Florida Green Building Coalition does not certify or promote products or services. The purpose of today's webinar is to feature a new member who has a product or a service that we feel contributes to green building in a substantial way. So with that, I'd like to take a moment and introduce our member for today, Carbon Limit, and I'll introduce their team and let them take it from here.
Thank you, CJ. Really good to be connected and proud to be a member for our Florida-based business. My name is Tim Sperry. I'm the founder and inventor of Carbon Limit, and I have a few of my team members on with me today, Christina and Brian. And Christina handles strategy and Brian business development, and happy to share some information about Carbon Limit with you guys. Christina is going to share a screen. Great. And Carbon Limit is a climate tech company. We're all about decarbonizing cement and concrete for helping develop greener cities, statewide, nationwide, and beyond. And we came up with a really novel solution for doing so that works directly into the workflow of cement and concrete manufacturing. And the reason being is that concrete production today is responsible for almost 8% of anthropogenic CO2 emissions. Cement actually is the biggest driver of all these emissions, which is almost responsible for about 90% of that. Cement was a nation, it'd be the third largest emitter of CO2 pollution behind only the US and China. 1 ton of cement, traditional cement, can emit almost as much as 1 ton of CO2 pollution, which is why we've decided to come up with a solution to do so. And that's Carbon Limit Cement, a really simple additive. It's a drop-in solution to reduce the requirement of traditional Portland cement and really uniquely create a carbon sink. And as we see with the breakdown of concrete, most people actually confuse cement and concrete. Cement is the glue that holds concrete together, and the aggregates are coarse aggregates, fine aggregates, air, water, the original ordinary Portland cement, and then we replace about 30% of that, which reduces immediately about 27% of the carbon footprint of traditional concrete, and also turns concrete into an active carbon capture and storage solution. Unlike traditional concrete, that over time weathering allows for some carbon capture and storage from atmospheric CO2, there's active materials in the cement mix in our cement composition that actively attract, like a magnet, atmospheric CO2, and then actually convert them via mineralization into a solid carbonate in the concrete. So a chemical reaction occurs into the concrete that actually has a reaction with the materials in the cement, as well as our materials that are very highly selective and reactive to CO2. So we're actually reducing atmospheric CO2 and improving the performance of the concrete from a compressive strength to a micro healing properties that it has. Really great as it's an easily adoptable solution. We're one of the few solutions that don't require additional equipment, don't require additional processing, and also it's non-calcinated, so you're saving money and energy, as well as the traditional Portland cement. Quantifiably lowers the carbon footprint at the point of manufacturing, and then post-cure starts sequestering CO2 and then storing them permanently into our roads, bridges, and buildings, and can help businesses satisfy ESG requirements. We're currently listed on Covalent's carbon credit market, and we're right down the pathway of getting our carbon credits verified with Verra, who has a methodology BM0043 that we fit into, as well as Puro Earth. And what was really exciting is now with the 45Q tax credits being increased, we're also on a path to getting these 45Q tax credits, as this will benefit not only us from a perspective of revenue, but our customers. We can actually transfer these tax credits to reduce cost and to incentivize the use, and actually have no price disparity with traditional cement versus our cement solution. Our business model is really simple. We sell our cement replacement as traditional cement is sold to cement and concrete companies. But what's unique is that once we get our carbon credits verified and 45Q, we can actually license our formula to cement and concrete companies so they can use this formula, source the materials more efficiently and more inexpensively, and we can scale ourselves above and beyond the US into other countries, but certainly scale ourselves all around the US. The second part is we have carbon credits that we can sell on the voluntary market, which is becoming very much more popularized as carbon goals need to be reached. And a lot of businesses and a lot of projects and development specifically don't have the ability to reach all those carbon goals without offsets, and then eventually sell to the governments and on the mandatory market. We've done a big efficiency and performance lab test, all third-party lab tests with the Heritage Research Group. We've been working with Purdue University, started working with University of Miami, as well as multiple batching companies and cement and concrete companies, to show that with our 30% cement replacement, we can reduce up to 75% of the carbon footprint associated with and compared to a traditional concrete. And 27% of that reduction is during the manufacturing, and an additional 48% is reduced post-cure as the concrete sequesters and stores CO2 via carbonization. And really cool is that the increase in compressive strength. Our formula base is made up of active minerals and pozzolanic materials that make up the bulk of the material, that are very highly selective and reactive to CO2 capture, absorption, physically and chemically, as well as mineralization via carbonization. So we're actually turning atmospheric CO2 into parts of the concrete, an increase of compressive strength on day 28 of 13% compared to traditional concrete. And these graphs are just showing the changes. On the top side will show the control concrete with less absorption surface area, and our different iterations have substantially more absorption surface area, and then the weight loss associated with how much CO2 was in the concrete based on a TGA test to show that there's substantially more CO2 just on the first 28 days of the concrete samples, as well as an XRD to show the spikes where we can identify calcite and dolomite, which is actually that solid carbonate that we're creating in the concrete. Where our competitive advantages, we're the only direct air capture solution that is built the concrete. There's other solutions on the market, other cement replacements. Some of them require additional equipment that inject CO2, liquid CO2. There's fly ash and slags that are industrial waste, as well as you have different materials that require another feedstock to put in there. So we have a lower carbon footprint, an increase in compressive strength. We're reducing the emissions pre-cure and post-cure. And as it is a simple additive, it's added just as you would add fly ash or slag during the concrete mix. It's a very easily adoptable and easily integrated. And again, no third-party feedstock, additional equipment. And we're working on getting our cost to or below the cost of traditional Portland cement. And a big benefit is a lot of these other solutions on the market can only be in precast or poured concrete. We can actually live in both. We're very also versatile to be able to work with CO2 injection, work with fly ash or slag, as well as other SCMs. We just completed our project with Minnesota Department of Transportation, as they had the big sustainability initiative where we worked with and alongside a bunch of other really great adoptable solutions that can go into the market today. We did our own cell on I-94 westbound using our technology and mixed at a 30% replacement. And really excited about this project, as it's challenging to get into the Department of Transportation in Florida. So we figured we'd go to another state and then backtrack to Florida and show what this looks like, as what they've done was actually put in the sensors and put in all these equipments, and they put in a bunch of things that collect data from the performance side of the concrete, as they'll see also how it's affected by the environment, unlike the environment in Florida. And then also just to show how much CO2 is being sequestered over time, to quantify for every ton of concrete how much CO2 we're removing. So very excited about this project. We also were announced as winners of the X-Tech Army SBIR Clean Tech competition, and we're just awarded with a grant from them as well, where we're going to be working to integrate a project in with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and into other workflow for the Army. And just graduated from our Google Climate Change Accelerator. Really proud to be a part of this program, as only 11 companies in all of North America were chosen for this cohort this year. And just got a commitment from Google to do a project in their new R&D facility in Mountain View, California, as we look to expand our technology integration into all different environments and into all different areas, and as well as all verticals. Have an incredible team, really a perfect blend of experts in carbon capture technology. My background is in nature-based negative emission technology, CCS, CCUS, as well as marketing, branding, licensing, and business development, and an incredible team of advisors that is helping us to break into different industries, as well as with the industry experience to help us take this to the global scale. Our big mission, is we're a super mission-driven company, is to remove over 1 billion tons of CO2 from our atmosphere. And we feel confident that we can do this, as our customers and as our industry, concrete being the second most used material on the planet behind only water, is a perfect integration. If we can transform all of our bridges, all of our buildings, all of our cement, concrete structures into carbon capture and storage solutions, we can make a really impactful and meaningful positive impact on our environment. And we're looking to align with folks like the Florida Green Building Council and your members and our fellow members to make this a reality and to continue to make a big impact together. And thank you guys. Happy to answer any questions, clarify anything for you guys as well.
Thanks, Tim. And also wanted to just point out for everyone that Carbon Limit is a Florida-based company. So once again, we're really happy to have you guys on board. So thank you for joining. Anybody have any questions specific for Tim? I've got a couple. I'll go ahead and start with, where can folks get information currently on some of your suppliers? Is that on your website where you can get the product?
Yeah, they can reach out to us at contact@carbonlimit.com. We're uploading all of that as we're putting out our new website now that we've completed our refresh. And they'll have all the information where they can get all the data, safety data sheets, as well as information on how to pilot and project with us. So that will all be available on carbonlimit.com.
Okay. There's a question came in. How available is it in Florida right now?
So we do have a warehouse here in Florida. Our main facilities that we are blending and creating this are right now in Nevada, California, and Texas. So we do have availability for small to mid-sized projects here in Florida. As we ramp up, we will continue to increase the availability here. It's for us specifically, as we're moving towards getting carbon credits, so we can, one, convey how much impact that every ton of concrete that uses our technology has, and keeping an LCA and improving the number of carbon credits based on just what the radius of how we're sourcing this, because all the materials are sourced here in the States. and we like to have things as close as possible. So we'll continue to ramp up between now and the end of the year so we can have larger scale projects available in Florida.
And then Tim, you mentioned that it was a cost differential. Do you have any idea as far as what the percentage or how much the cost differential is?
Yep. So right now we're looking at about an 8 to 9% increase in cost to use our additive into a concrete design mix at 30%, 20 to 30%, depending on what that mixed design ratio looks like. So it's relatively minimal. And once we get our carbon credits as well as the tax credits, we hope to be able to actually have no price disparity at all, whether that's by supplementing it or providing the tax credit, that 45Q tax credit to the customer.
And then do you have any plans to use blockchain technology?
Yeah, right now our first carbon marketplace that we're on is called Covalent, and it's actually a blockchain-based marketplace. We are actually, from our Google Climate Change Accelerator that we were part of, we'll be probably working on machine learning and AI tool first. So it'll be a visual machine learning, so you can take your phone and take a picture of concrete that's made with our technology, and it can actually quantify the age as well as how much CO2 has been captured in there. Perfect for, again, ESG reporting. But from a progression there, we've considered tokenizing our carbon credits as well as a few other things, and just haven't really written that into the business plan yet.
And is your product acknowledged by the National Concrete Masonry Association?
We're in the process with all of that right now. After coming out of this pretty probing project for the Minnesota Department of Transportation, we have a lot more data that we can take to get that.
And then what are the challenges you're having with the Florida Department of Transportation?
Because we weren't into another Florida transportation, and because we are more of a startup, considered more of a startup now that we've actually gained quite a bit of traction with DOD and with these other projects that we have, it gives us a little bit more to leverage and stand on. So initially, it's just that we didn't have any projects that could warrant us being qualified or considered even as a vendor to be picked up. So I think we just wanted to increase our opportunities and increase the credibility behind our technology and show it in another actual real life environment.
Thanks. Any other questions from anyone? Is there anything else you'd like to just get or mention, Tim?
Well, we're certainly, our main objective is really being a technology company. We're not really looking to be a cement company. So what we really look to do is to find ways to collaborate with corporate owners of projects, as well primarily with cement and concrete companies, so they can adopt our technology and supply it to their supply chain, and again, minimize that carbon footprint for distribution and for sourcing. So we're really looking to align ourselves with as many cement and concrete companies. We have a few of them right now doing proof of concepts and vetting the technology for potential licensing. So to continue to grow and then find ways to work with other companies and other groups and folks in Florida.
Great. And then we did have one more question. How do we get the carbon credit?
Yeah, so right now we are forward selling carbon credits through Covalent, which is our first marketplace that we're listed on. We're in the process of getting carbon credits verified with Verra, which is a little more universally acceptable, and then Pure Earth too. So once we get those carbon credits verified, the project documents and our agreement will determine who receives those carbon credits. Either we offset the cost and provide the carbon credits to them, or ourselves and reduce the cost of goods. So it can be done either way, which is great, as they can pick to have a carbon credit, or they can pick to have a lower cost of goods.
Great. And if we don't have any more questions, I just wanted to remind everybody that this video will be recorded and housed on the Florida Green Building Coalition's YouTube channel. And if you haven't had a chance to visit our YouTube channel, please go there and subscribe. So with that, I want to thank Tim and his group today and Carbon Limit.
Hey,
And
CJ, looks like there's one more question.
Oh, yep. Is the Corps of Engineers planning on any of these projects in Florida that will be using your project?
That's a good question because we have a phase 1 with them now. Our phase 2 is actual deployment. So we haven't picked those actual locations yet. As we're also working towards doing some other roadway work in other states that actually have some potential for that integration too. So we'll know that closer to the end of the year.
All righty. Well, thank you guys.
Great. Thanks everyone. And thank you so much for having us on. Thanks everyone for your questions and look forward to connecting with you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.